Hey, something they mentioned before we got on this interview was the pronunciation of your name, and it got me to thinking. Did you draw from personal experience in the movie when they keep calling Jaime the wrong? They keep calling him Jamie, and they're like, "Oh, it's
Yeah,
Jaime."
100%. We had to like that. That's something that's way too common, I guess, to avoid. And the fact that it is Jaime, but people call him Jamie, and it happened during production. It happened all the time. It happens on interviews. And I'm like, see, it happens, and it happened to me. Like, my wife always makes fun of me because at first I used to lose patience, but then I'm like, it's what it is.
Yeah,
Because it's Ángel, and they'll be like, can you say that again? Ángel. Ang Ángel. How do you spell it? Like angel. Oh, Angel. I'm like, it doesn't work. Repeating phonetics doesn't work for everybody. So I'm like, just call me whatever you want as long as you're being respectful.
I feel on a personal level because my real name is Miguel Angel. My dad is Angel, and there were a lot of moments of this movie where I felt like, oh, it's just speaking to me, and that was one in particular. And even with them, thinking that he is supposed to be at a different location, like, hey, you're not supposed to be
Yeah.
here. You're supposed to be helping in the back.
Oh man, that's yeah, that happened to me and the writer.
Much like the Scarab chose Jaime in this movie to become the Blue Beetle. You chose Xolo Maridueña to be the Blue Beetle. What is that feeling like?
Well, I think who was it? I think Walt Hamada was the one that told me that you're about to change a kid's life forever with this. You know, um, it's not just a movie. It's like it's what DC means to a lot of people. It's what DC means to pop culture. Um, in commercial cinema in Hollywood, being a leading man and being a action hero, superhero stars is a level. He coming from TV and doing a jump because he hasn't done cinema. He hasn't done theatrical um, besides Cobra Kai. So that jump is massive. But I knew that he could handle that type of jump and that type of exposure because I met him way before. We both knew Blue Beetle was in the picture. We met, I think it was 2019 or something. He had not done. I think Cobra Kai hadn't even come out yet. He only shot the first season. And but what I met was a kid that was grounded, that was vulnerable, that had was very close to his family and was very true to his values. And so when the opportunity came, uh, for me it was a no-brainer to recommend Xolo to be the lead. He was already known for Cobra Kai, and he's also a copy paste from Jaime Reyes in the comic, and he happens to have martial arts background. But his heart, how grounded he is, and how um, close his family is to him, consistently just made it clear for me that Jaime Reyes is in the house.
You referenced the comic there, which because of the movie now, I am so into learning everything about Blue Beetle. I'm reading the current run of the comic. With there
So much
being,
fun.
yeah, it's an excellent comic, but with there being so much history in the character and so much source material, how do you sit down and think like, okay, how can I honor all of this, but also create my own vision and make the movie I want to make?
Man, that I have to give credit where credit's due, and that's one of the amazing words that come from one of Blue Beetle's biggest fan, and that's our writer, Gareth Dunet Alcocer. Um, we knew we had to choose the greatest hits of all the different iterations that we have seen from Jaime Reyes, not just in the comic, but also in Teen Titans, Young Justice, and even in the Injustice 2 game. Like, how can we take the things that we like the most out of it and embody them into our own version of the cinematic universe, which can doesn't have to like be verbatim one version or the other. We can actually do an amalgamation of all the different things that we love about Jaime and bring them together. And at the same time, how can we honor all the different things? You know, Carpax is part of it, but also Ted Court is part of it, but also the Reach is part of it. So how can we keep this essence into it? And I think it's by showing love and respect to the source material. We really wanted to, how can we protect the things that work already from the comic and bring it into the cinematic universe and create our own lane with the information that we have? Because that's the beauty for us. That was the beautiful part of it, is being able to pick and choose what resonated the most with us, while also leaving space for future films or sequels or whatever they want to do that we can also take from it, which I think that's one of the cool things that Graduation Day has done. Like Palmera City was already in place, so we kind of like incorporated Palmera City, who is in Graduation Day. We have Victoria Court, who is also in Graduation Day. And in our title sequence, we have like all the different scarabs, and then in Graduation Day, you see all the other new scarabs that are coming in. So, you know, it's an open canvas that I think is really fun to just think of the possibilities.
This is the only movie that I've seen twice in theaters this year. I went to go see it first time in the summer, and I loved it so much that I wanted to take my mom to go see it. My mom,
oh, nice.
She does not like superhero movies whatsoever. She grew up in Mexico, came here as a teenager, but she loves the movie. And one of the things that I found her grasping onto was the fact that you committed to using Spanish throughout the entire movie. Did that feel like a bit of a risk to you?
No, I don't see it as a risk. I don't know if the studio sees that as a risk, but when we were doing it, we had the blessing. I wanted to have more Spanish because the truth is, all those actors, especially like Alberto Reyes, you know, Damián Alcázar and Adriana Barraza, their main language is Spanish. And when you speak from the heart, it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to speak from the language that you can better communicate. It happens to me a lot. Like for me, I'm here struggling as I translate in real time. Like if it was for me, I would do this in Spanish easily. But our Spanglish is already part of the dynamic. And because we have 3 generations of family in the film, it felt very authentic. This is how we talk. There's the old lady that only speaks Spanish but understands English because she's been here for a long time, but she refuses to speak English. There's the parents that they have to live in both worlds. And there's the kids that are already born there as first generation, but English is their first language, but they understand and they can speak Spanish. So having that work organically, we just went for the organic. We didn't want to force anything. We didn't want to force the wrong English because it felt like that doesn't come from the heart. It will be better in Spanish. We didn't do the way Hollywood used to do it, which is like I say something in Spanish and then I right off the bat translate it in English for, you know, the person that refuses to read subtitles. You know, there's no need for that. So yes, let's swing it because this is how we talk, and you hired us for our authenticity. So let us be authentic, and they did.
I loved it. I just wanted to thank you for creating a story and creating characters that listen to the music we listen to, eat the food we eat, talk the way we talk, drive the cars that we drive. And the fact that you put Los Tucanes de Tijuana in a major motion picture was like, I was like, that's it for me. Like, this is going to be my favorite movie.
Well, like again, like you know, the same way that we consume Cypress Hill, we also consume the stuff that we grew up in. Like the how untrue would it be to only play United States top 40 in a all Latino it doesn't make sense to me. We listen to it, but you know what? There's other music too, man. You know, like there's more stuff out in the world that's fun, that creates a similar emotion. You know, you can have 80s music in John Hughes, and we have Soda Stereo. So why not use it? Like it's right there for us. So for me, it was about let us show the world how we can be, or a portion of everything that we can be, and maybe if we don't conform to the expectations of society, maybe we can bring something fresh. I don't know.
Really appreciate it. Love the movie. Great to get to talk to you.
Oh man, thank you so much. That was a great talk.
All right, have a good one.
You too.